Hey, imagine you're sitting at your desk with a massive spreadsheet open, a 3D render waiting to finish, and a video call with a client demanding real-time edits. You've got a decent laptop, but every time you try to push a heavy AI model or a high-resolution Photoshop file, the fan whines and the screen lags. You're wondering whether it's worth splurging on a full-tower workstation or just upgrading your current machine. I've been in that spot a lot lately, and before you decide to drop a big chunk of cash, I want to walk you through exactly what the Lenovo ThinkStation P3 Tower Gen 2 brings to the table and where it might fall short so you can feel confident about the purchase. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most people have is, do I really need a tower like this for my work or hobby? The ThinkStation P3 is marketed as an AI-ready workstation, and that claim isn't just marketing fluff. The Intel Core Ultra 9285 vPro processor is basically a 12-core, 24-thread beast with built-in AI acceleration. If your daily workflow includes running TensorFlow models, compiling large codebases, or doing multi-camera video editing, that extra AI engine can shave minutes off render times that would otherwise add up to hours. On the other hand, if you're primarily using Office apps, web browsing, and occasional photo edits, you'll probably never see that advantage, and you might be better off with a mid-range laptop that's lighter to carry. Let's talk storage because that's where the real money shows up. The unit ships with a 2TB PCIe Gen 5 NVMe SSD. That's not just a bigger drive, it's one of the fastest consumer SSDs you can buy right now. In bench tests, Gen 5 drives can hit sequential read speeds well over 10 GB per second, which translates to almost instant game-level loads, quick boot times for Windows 11 Professional, and near-zero weight when moving multi-gigabyte datasets between folders. If you're a developer pulling large Docker images or a content creator juggling 4K footage, that speed is a genuine productivity boost. However, if you are used to storing most of your work on external hard drives or cloud services, the extra cost of a 2TB Gen 5 SSD might feel unnecessary, especially when you could have opted for a smaller SSD plus a traditional HDD for bulk storage. RAM is another area where this ThinkStation leans heavy. It comes with 64 GB of DDR5 6400 MHz memory, which is enough to keep dozens of Chrome tabs open while a 3D render runs in the background, or to host multiple virtual machines for testing. The DDR5 speed is noticeably faster than the older DDR4 modules you see in many desktops, giving you lower latency for data-intensive tasks. If you regularly multitask between resource-hungry applications, think Blender, Unreal Engine, and a handful of IDEs at once, that capacity will keep your system from swapping to disk, maintaining fluid responsiveness. For a solo freelancer or a small business that rarely exceeds 16 GB usage, it's overkill and a cost you could redirect toward better peripherals or a higher resolution monitor. One feature that often gets overlooked in the hype is expandability. The P3 Tower advertises toolless upgrades, which means you can slide a new GPU, add another SSD, or swap the RAM without a screwdriver. In practice, the interior layout is indeed spacious, and the front panel can be popped open without having to unplug anything. That's a real convenience if you plan to upgrade incrementally, say, starting with a mid-range GPU and later moving to an RTX 4090 as your AI workload scale. The downside is that the chassis is a full-size tower, so it needs a dedicated space in your office or studio. If you're tight on desk real estate or prefer a compact build, you'll need to allocate a separate shelf or a floor spot, which can clash with the aesthetic of a minimalist workspace. Now, Wi-Fi 7 is a nice future-proofing touch. The built-in Wi-7 module can handle multi-gigabit speeds, so when you have a 10 GB router, you're ready for wireless transfers that rival Ethernet. In real-world use, I've noticed that large file uploads to cloud storage finish a few seconds faster compared to older Wi-Fi 6 cards, but only when the network conditions are optimal. If your office still runs on standard Wi-Fi 5 or you rely on Ethernet, this upgrade won't make a noticeable difference today, though it does ensure you won't need to upgrade another component for a few years. Operating system-wise, the machine ships with Windows 11 Professional. That edition includes group policy management, BitLocker encryption, and remote desktop capabilities, features most small to medium business owners look for. If you need a workstation that can be managed centrally or integrated into an Active Directory environment, this OS choice makes sense. For a hobbyist gamer who just wants to install a few titles, you'll likely never touch the professional tools, so you could install a consumer version of Windows or even Linux without much hassle. Just keep in mind that some enterprise-only software licenses can be pricey, so verify whether you actually need those professional features before you settle on this model. What about the gaming angle?